7,000 miles away and 13 hours ahead, New York City and Seoul, South Korea, may seem completely lost in translation, and yet millions of travelers come from across the globe to see both cities every year. The current generation of young adults just experienced one of the heaviest breaks in their coming of age due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and so it only makes sense that Gen Z, now more than ever, aspires to travel the world. With COVID restrictions finally being lifted worldwide, tourism amongst young people is coming once again into full swing. We are 4 full-time students in New York City visiting Seoul, South Korea for the summer. We want to explore what it's like to be a native in one of the biggest cities in the world, to then become a tourist just like the ones we see so often. And most importantly, why should young people travel? With countless movies and TV shows set in the Big Apple, it's almost inevitable that people from across the globe would come to see what the big fuss is about.
I think New York is one of those places, like, at least everybody has to visit at least one time.
Yeah.
It just has a different energy than a lot of other places.
Locals may have mixed feelings about tourists. With many outsiders coming from smaller towns and less hectic environments, there may be clashes between busy New Yorkers and sightseeing tourists.
One thing I would say is bad about tourists is you guys gotta move out the way when you're taking pictures.
I guess from an outsider's perspective, who doesn't know anything about New York, I guess you probably like generically be like, oh, people are assholes or whatever. But I feel like it depends on what part of New York you're in. Not even just like what part you're living, but like what part you're literally in at the moment. Because like, I mean, just like any hectic situation is gonna make a person.
New York City doesn't really have a culture itself. It's just like a diversity of different cultures, like combining, like actually mixing together.
There's so much here in the city. A lot of background of immigrants to New York. There's a lot of history that I've known about that. A lot of local culture as well, which I'm getting used to.
Having people like from different countries just coming here, interacting with each other and stuff like that. I feel like it's really good.
Definitely like coming for music or festivals, like knowing if there's a parade. I feel like everyone always comes together. Like
We have a lot of people from around the world, from Germany. We have people from Korea, Brazil. We have a variety of people that come here.
New York is certainly more accessible for American tourists, which for some may only be an hour or 2 away by train. However, some have chosen to take the often lengthy flight to Seoul, South Korea, from America and all parts of the world. There has been a recent boom of Korean media and popular culture. We've seen this with the popularization of K-pop groups like BTS and Blackpink, as well as the widespread acclaim of Korean movies and TV shows like Parasite and Squid Games. K-dramas also have a large audience in America, many fans tuning into Korean romances, comedies, and thrillers with English subtitles.
I thought I'm going to see BTS or something, attend the concert. But anyways, it was one of my goals to just come to South Korea.
I watched a couple of K-dramas back in my college days. So Seoul seems to be the place where everything cool happens.
Locals from Seoul seem to have a different approach to tourists visiting their city as opposed to New Yorkers. For many, it brings a sense of pride. However, tourists can have a difficult time adapting to the culture. As many visitors come from Western, English-speaking countries, there are often some learning curves.
People are really friendly. They want to help you with everything, but on the other hand, they're also really quiet. So they're not really talkative to strangers.
yeah, and as Dutchies we're often quite loud, so that's kind of a change.
Trying to learn how to use chopsticks.
Additionally, Seoul lacks the diversity that is so present in New York. While there are many non-natives that have started a life in Seoul, the majority of the population is still made up of Korean people. This can make tourists stick out very easily and immediately establish them as different from the people that live there.
We're also getting films everywhere, I think.
Yeah.
And photograph. We are like
The tourist attraction ourselves.
We were picture in a bar, and there were like 1 camera from us, and the other 6 were from random people in the bar. I don't know who those were.
Regardless, Seoul's beauty lies in the fusion of the past and the present coming together with extremely modern buildings amongst the hundreds of historical attractions and monuments.
요즘 외국인들이 경복궁 같은 데 많이 놀러가서 한복도 입어보고 하는 것 같은데 그런 데 가면 경복궁이나 창덕궁 이런 데 가면 근처에 먹을 것도 많고 한복도 빌릴 수 있어서 재밌는 것들이 많을 것 같아요.
일단 63빌딩은 한번 가봤으면 좋겠다는 생각이 들어요. 한강도 바람도 쐬고 거기 있는 길거리 음식들도 같이 먹으면 좋겠다고 생각합니다.
As tourism to Seoul increases, more and more across the world will get to experience its dichotomy of a fast-paced, bustling city and serene and quiet historical sites. As we've seen, New York and Seoul are two very different cities. Tourists travel across the world to visit both for different reasons. New York offers food from across the world, iconic sightseeing, and diverse creativity. Seoul stands as a current hub of pop culture and media, offering a wide array of talent and unique tourist attractions, both historical and modern. However, after talking to many young adult tourists, it's clear to see how much their travels had left a profound impact on them. Whether it's a 2-hour train ride or 14-hour flight, young people all across the world are once again beginning to step into adulthood by exploring everything that's out there. It may push them outside of their comfort zone, but the culture shock and personal adjustments are ultimately entirely worth it. Our experiences of New York and Seoul both have illuminated the beauty of traveling and seeing the city through your lens.
하나, 둘, 셋, 안녕하세요.